If you make decent money, pay your bills on time, and maybe even have some savings, you probably feel like you're doing okay financially. But deep down, there's this quiet question that keeps popping up. Am I actually doing well or just surviving? Because when people talk about being rich in America, the numbers sound insane. Millions, mansions, private jets. And that makes most normal people assume they're nowhere close. But here's what most people don't realize. The net worth that puts you in the top 10% of Americans is way different than what people guess. And once you see the real number, it completely changes how you think about money, progress, and your financial future. My name is John, and I spend way too much time thinking about how people misunderstand wealth in America. If you're someone who works hard, saves when you can, but still feels behind financially, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Now, let's get into it. Most people think the top 10% means you're ultra-rich, like beachfront houses, luxury cars, and unlimited spending. Look, that's not how it actually works. Net worth is simply what you own minus what you owe. Your savings, investments, home equity, minus debt like mortgages, student loans, and credit cards. And when you look at the real data, the results surprise almost everyone. So let me ask you a question before I tell you the number. What net worth do you think puts someone in the top 10% in the United States? Most people guess anywhere between $3 million to $5 million. That answer is very wrong. According to Federal Reserve data, the net worth that puts you in the top 10% of Americans is roughly $1.9 million. Let that sink in for a second. Not 10 million, not 5 million, not even 3, just under $2 million. Now, before you panic or mentally check out, here's where it gets really interesting. That number includes home equity and retirement accounts, which means a lot of people in the top 10% don't feel rich at all. They might be living in an expensive city. They might have most of their wealth locked in a house or retirement fund. They might still budget, stress about money, and drive normal cars. This is why so many people misunderstand where they actually stand. Here's what most people don't realize. Wealth in America is extremely skewed. The top 1% owns a massive share of total wealth. So the jump from the top 10% to the top 1% is enormous. To be in the top 1%, you're looking at $13 million plus in net worth. That gap alone is why the top 10% feels like middle-class rich instead of movie rich. Now let's talk about age, because this part matters a lot. If you're in your 20s or early 30s, the net worth required to be in the top 10% for your age group is dramatically lower. For people under 35, a net worth around $300,000 to $500,000 already puts you far ahead of average. That's not celebrity money. That's consistent saving, investing, and avoiding major financial mistakes. This is where psychology comes into play. Most people compare themselves to the wrong benchmark. They compare themselves to influencers, business owners, or people at the extreme top. That comparison kills motivation, because if your goal feels impossible, your brain gives up. But when you understand realistic wealth milestones, something changes. You realize wealth isn't about sudden breakthroughs, it's about positioning. Here's an example. Two people make the same salary. One focuses on lifestyle upgrades. The other focuses on building net worth slowly. After 10 years, the income might be identical, but the financial power is completely different. This is why net worth matters more than income. Income shows what you earn. Net worth shows what you keep. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. John, this doesn't help me. I'm nowhere near $1.9 million. And that's fair. But here's the part most people miss. You don't aim for the top 10% directly. You aim for the behaviors that put you on that path. The people who reach that level usually do a few things consistently. They invest early and regularly. They avoid lifestyle inflation. They use time and compounding instead of chasing quick wins. And they focus on assets, not appearances. Let's talk numbers again, because numbers remove emotion. If you invest $500 a month at a 7% return for 30 years, you end up with roughly $600,000. Increase that to $1,000 a month, and you're looking at over $1.2 million. Add home equity and employer retirement matches, and suddenly the top 10% doesn't feel like fantasy anymore. This is why understanding net worth is powerful. It reframes your progress. You stop asking, "Why am I not rich yet?" and start asking, "Am I building assets that compound?" Here's the hard truth. Most people never reach the top 10%, not because they can't, but because they never intentionally try. They drift, they react, they consume without building, and years pass. So if you're watching this and you're early in your career, this is your advantage. And if you're later in life, this still matters, because direction matters more than speed. Wealth isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. Aligning your habits with where you want to be. So here's what I want you to do after this video. First, calculate your net worth honestly. Second, understand where you stand relative to averages. Third, focus on building assets, not impressing people. Because once you understand how wealth is actually measured in America, you stop chasing illusions and start making real progress. If this video helped you clarify things for you, hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who constantly feels behind financially. And comment below, did this number surprise you or was it higher than you expected? Let's build smarter together.